introduction, literature review, methods, results, discussion, conclusion, references. These sections may be familiar to you. These are the sections that we normally find in a research paper or article. And today, I'm going to tell you that sometimes, and more often than you think, there are issues with the methodology or with analysis which are never discussed in any of these sections in the research paper. When we read book chapters or journal articles with scientific studies, we often think, wow, that was perfectly written, and that is the perfect way to investigate that issue. You may think that those are the real scientists with flawless projects and fascinating results. However, most of the time, this perfect representation of research is not really what happened. We never see the struggles that researchers face when, for example, recruiting participants, conducting an experiment, or analyzing the data. And more importantly, we never get to know how they solve those difficulties, because the investigations are reported as ideal. It seems as if the project was perfectly designed and conducted, and as if the analysis led to successful results. Today, I'm going to discuss a particular problem from my own project to show that conducting research is not always ideal. The dilemmas researchers face and the things that go wrong in an investigation are often unknown. Researchers don't share the research dilemmas because obstacles are often regarded as something negative. Unexpected obstacles show that the investigation is messy, therefore it shows that something went wrong with the study. Many researchers believe that by reporting these issues, their data will be weakened. Authors think that by discussing these problems, they risk their chances at publishing in top journals. But sharing an idealized version of the project is not an honest report and is not helpful or useful to readers. Obstacles should be acknowledged, and researchers should understand that a research breakdown can result in a new opportunity and a new mystery to be solved, which later needs to be shared with the research community. The students should also learn that not all research processes are perfect or ideal, and regardless of your experience, obstacles are part of the research process, which is also a learning process. Doing research is not an easy task. It's rather chaotic, and it looks something like this. Doing research is messy and it has challenges, but from overcoming challenges we can create a solid study. Although an investigation has been carefully designed, unexpected issues happen and the research plans will need to be changed. These changes will support the research process while also taking into account these unpredicted events. We should embrace and defy research obstacles while learning from them. We should share the solutions to our obstacles with the community, so others can learn that chaotic and messy research can also result in valid and good research. To show the realities of doing research, I will tell you an example from my own project, and I will explain how my research obstacle led to an improved investigation. In my study, I analyzed teacher motivation to teach English as a foreign language. And the research design follow a mixed methods approach, which is the combination of quantitative and qualitative research. I use a questionnaire for the quantitative part and interviews with teachers for the qualitative part of the investigation. This questionnaire was tested and it showed low levels of reliability, correlation and variance at the pilot study stage. This meant that the questionnaire was of no use whatsoever. And this would be a nightmare for any researcher, and it was definitely a nightmare for me. You spend so much time and effort reading, designing, and conducting your study that you want a positive outcome. Unfortunately, many times this does not happen. Things go wrong, and you find yourself facing this undeniable fact. Your research is a mess, and nobody told you that this could happen. This is something that nobody shares when doing research, and you have only seen what they wanted you to see. It's once again the iceberg illusion. We just see a part of the investigation which is almost perfect, but there was a lot more to tell and a lot more to know. In my study, questionnaire results were completely unexpected. I had never read a publication with similar methodological issues. I wonder if authors reconsider their approaches, made mistakes, or had any issues while researching. Publications often have a short section on limitations, but these limitations were described as if authors were aware of them at all times. The perfect investigations that I read did not look like the unexpected issues that I was facing, which made the research process and the struggle more taxing and unsettling. The materials new researchers turn to for guidance sometimes offer unrealistic research models, because the research models are almost perfect. The misrepresentation of research in published textbooks and articles discourage me, and may discourage MA and PhD researchers. At that time, I was lucky enough to find the work of Rosa McKinley. This book definitely reassured me, and I realized that I was not alone. They discuss how researchers encounter challenges in applied linguistics, which is my field, and they argue that published research seems to be ideal, and the reader may never know the struggles the researchers faced during their methodological journey and the compromises made during this time. Researchers typically face challenges, and they make decisions about how to handle these problems, but by not showing and by not sharing these obstacles, they are depriving new and experienced researchers from learning about valuable solutions to common struggles among researchers. The dreadful results from my questionnaire were completely unexpected, and they definitely discouraged me. I could see that the questionnaire was not working, and instead of disregarding this questionnaire completely, I used some of the most reliable items from the questionnaire and I created some interview prompts. These interview prompts were some cards with ideas, statements, and tasks, which were used as break activities in the interviews with the teachers. As you can see in this slide, aloud, participants could complete sentences, a motivated teacher is, or they could fill in the gaps, I am, with a degree of respect and fair treatment I've received from this school or high school. Participants could also move these cards to a particular opinion. For example, in this task, is this element important for you? Having a good relationship with my students' parents? Yes, no, so. Or in this other task, do you agree or disagree with these statements? For example, this statement, I often think of quitting this job. Agree or disagree. These interview prompts allow me to do research in a more creative and active way, and they also enable a powerful discussion with teachers during the interviews. Unlike most published research, in my PhD thesis and in other publications I'm preparing, I have decided to portray the problems that I faced, because these challenges led me to making compromises and changes which resulted in a better understanding of teacher motivation in this particular context. And they also enabled the creation of an original research instrument, the interview prompts. I have decided to embrace my iceberg, because I believe that those studies which do not review the issues encountered by researchers are unfinished. I encourage researchers, those who are starting and those with experience, to embrace the research obstacles and to share the solutions with the community, so they are useful to all the scientists. This is especially important for those who are conducting their first studies and need to find real research in the resources that they read. So if you're having trouble with your project, remember that you're not alone. Reflect on the problem. And when you find a solution, share your research dilemma and the problem with the research community. We can all benefit from it. We can learn that those obstacles are not the end of the world. And they don't mean that you're a bad researcher. Instead, the fact that you're able to solve those problems shows that you're a good researcher with problem-solving and analytic skills. More importantly, when you share the obstacles that you have faced, this increases your credibility as an author and the validity of your research. So in conclusion, Embrace the problems that you find in your research. Solve them and share them. Acknowledge your research obstacles and praise those researchers who are brave enough to share their obstacles with the research community. Because there is not a perfect way of doing research. Thank you.